Johannesburg hummed with life. A woman named Lila navigated her world with a blend of caution and defiance. The city was a mosaic of cultures, colors, and contradictions, from the lively street vendors selling biltong and fresh fruit to the upscale cafes where the elite gathered. By day, Lila moved through the crowded streets like a ghost, unnoticed amidst the throng. By night, however, she transformed into something more dangerous, a figure of shadows drawn by the desperate rhythms of the streets. Lila's childhood had been marred by hardship. Growing up in a township, she learned early that survival was a game of wits and resilience. She witnessed the struggles of her family, the grinding poverty that forced many to turn to crime or despair. Her father, a once proud man, fell victim to the bottle, and her mother worked long hours at a local factory, leaving Lila to fend for herself. Life had dealt her a difficult hand, and she adapted by embracing the only options she thought were available to her. By the time she hit her 20s, Lila had already experienced more than most. She dropped out of school to help support her family, taking on jobs that often left her vulnerable. As she walked the streets at night, she encountered danger at every turn. It was during those long nights that she learned to navigate the complex web of the city, using her charm and wit to survive. But with every encounter, she felt her spirit slowly eroding. One fateful evening, she encountered a man named Thabo at a local bar in Mabanang, a trendy area known for its art scene and nightlife. He was charming, with a confident demeanor and a smile that could light up the darkest corners of the city. They shared stories and laughter beneath the dim lights, and for a moment, Lila felt a flicker of hope. Perhaps this time would be different. But, as the night wore on, Thabo's true intentions surfaced. He grew controlling, his charm fading into something darker and more sinister. Lila, always on guard, felt a shift in his energy. When he suggested they leave the bar together, Lila hesitated. Something felt off, and she instinctively reached for the small blade she kept hidden in her purse. In a moment of instinct, when Thabo lunged at her, she struck. The act was swift and brutal, but it felt like a release, a desperate grasp for control in a world that had constantly sought to diminish her. As she stood over him, heart racing, the finality of her action echoed in her ears. She rifled through his pockets, finding cash and a cell phone. It was the beginning of a dark journey, one that would intertwine with the shadows of Johannesburg. Over the next few months, Lila became a hunter, selecting her targets careful men who thought they could exert control over her. Each encounter ended in blood, and with each life taken, she felt a twisted sense of power. But with every act, the thrill quickly turned into a haunting emptiness. The faces of the men she had killed invaded her dreams, their eyes filled with fear and disbelief. The guilt clawed at her, yet the cycle continued. The city itself seemed to change in her eyes. What was once vibrant now felt oppressive. Lila found herself wandering through the streets of Soweto, past the murals that celebrated struggle and resilience. She saw echoes of her own life in the faces of those around her, people who had fought against the odds. Yet, instead of seeking connection, she withdrew deeper into herself. One night, after a particularly harrowing encounter, Lila found herself standing on the edge of the iconic Nelson Mandela Bridge. The city sprawled before her, its lights flickering like stars against the dark sky. In that moment, she felt the weight of her choices crashing down. She realized she had become the monster she once feared, an executioner cloaked in the guise of survival. Determined to forge a new path, Lila sought help. She found a community center in the heart of Soweto, a place that offered support and resources to those trying to escape the cycle of violence and despair. There, she met a counselor named Zanella, a woman who had dedicated her life to helping others find their way. Zanelli's warmth and understanding were a stark contrast to the coldness Lila had grown accustomed to. With Zanelli's guidance, Lila began to confront her past, unraveling the pain and trauma that had driven her to darkness. Real strength lies in facing your demons, not in running from them, Zanelli advised, her voice steady and reassuring. Motivated by Zanelli's words, Lila began to change her life. She found work at a local cafe in Braamfontein, serving coffee and pastries to the vibrant community that thrived there. Each day felt like a small victory, a step away from the darkness that had consumed her. She immersed herself in art, rediscovering her passion for painting, and began attending workshops that helped her channel her emotions into creativity. As she healed, Lila felt a calling to give back. The community center became her sanctuary, and she started organizing support groups for women in her neighborhood who were grappling with similar issues. They met every week, sharing stories of survival and resilience. Lila's journey of redemption inspired many to seek help and reclaim their lives. Every session brought new faces, women who had been battered by life's harsh realities. Lila listened as they shared their struggles, and in return she offered her own story not as a tale of pride, but as a testament to the power of transformation. "We are not defined by our past," she would say. "We can rewrite our stories." With time, Lila became a mentor, guiding others away from the darkness she once embraced. She organized art exhibitions at the community center, showcasing the work of women artists who had also faced struggles. The walls of the center became a canvas for their collective experiences, each piece a reflection of resilience and hope. One evening, as she prepared for an exhibition, Lila stood before a large canvas, her heart swelling with pride. The artwork depicted a phoenix rising from the ashes, a symbol of rebirth and strength. She remembered her days of darkness, the moments when she felt trapped in a cycle of violence and despair. But now, she was creating something beautiful, something that represented not just her journey, but the journeys of countless others. Years later, standing on the same bridge where her transformation began, Lila looked out over Johannesburg with a heart full of gratitude. The city was alive, a symbol of resilience and hope, echoing the very struggles she had once faced. The shadows of her past no longer defined her. Instead, they had shaped her into a survivor who embraced the light. Lila's story began to spread, reaching beyond the confines of her community. She was invited to speak at schools and organizations, sharing her message of hope and redemption. Young women approached her, inspired by her courage, and Lila realized that her past, once a burden, had become a powerful tool for change. As the sun set over the city, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple, Lila smiled. She had turned her pain into purpose, helping others find their way out of the darkness. The journey had been long and fraught with challenges, but she had faced her demons and emerged stronger. In that moment of reflection, Lila understood that living in the light didn't mean forgetting her past. It meant using it to fuel her passion for helping others. She had become a beacon of hope, a living testament to the power of resilience and transformation. Thank you for watching this story of survival, redemption, and the unyielding strength of the human spirit. May we all find our path to the light, no matter how dark our journey may seem. Your support and engagement mean the world, and together, we can continue to inspire change and hope in our communities.